Hi everyone, and welcome to another Sketchbook Sunday episode. Today I'm going to be showing you yet another idea for a wedding invitation. So if you're planning a wedding or you just got engaged and you're just in the wedding spirit, make sure to follow along with this video. And I also want to remind you, if you are new to my channel, that I did put out a part 1 to this video, so I will link it down below in the description, and if I remember, I'll also link it in the top right corner of this video if you want to check out that one first. But basically, we're following along with the floral theme here, and we are going to be painting a floral wreath that is kind of heavy in one corner and it tapers off, fades off as the left and right branches meet on the opposite corner. So to start off, you want to trace a very light circle on your piece of paper, and obviously you aren't going to be painting 200 copies of these, if that's how many guests you're inviting. You're just going to paint this once, and then you can take it to a copier or a print shop and have them replicate it as many times as you need. So obviously you're not going to paint every single one. That would take a very long time. So basically the technique to painting these roses or whatever flowers you want to interpret these as is you want to paint on these half moon shapes. That's the best way that I would describe them. And you want to make sure that you leave a really thin white gap in between each half moon shape as you paint it in a circular motion. And this is because you're adding layers to the flower, so you're making it look like there are layered petals, just like a rose would have. And it doesn't have to be completely even and perfect, because obviously flowers aren't perfect, and that's what makes them look beautiful. So just keep that in mind when you are painting your flowers or your roses. You can also make sure to, add different colors. If you're not a fan of this color scheme, you can definitely use your own. I'm just going for a bluish, purplish, pale color scheme here because I felt like the first wedding invitation video that I put out was quite pigmented. It was very, very potent blue, or vibrant blue rather. So I wanted to go for more of a pale theme for this one, but again, you can choose whatever colors you want. So I started out with quite large flowers towards the left corner there, and as we paint on the arms of this wreath, going to the left and the right, we're going to be painting smaller flowers and smaller flower petals because we want them to sort of taper off right before they very gently meet the two arms that is in the opposite corner of these flowers. So I'm filling up some of the gaps here by painting flower petals and little buds sort of coming out from the gaps of the flowers, and here you can just see me painting on slightly smaller roses as I'm tapering off. And the really great thing about these sort of wreaths is you can, if you're not that great at painting flowers or you really don't like the look of them, you can fill in that extra space just by painting ginormous flower petals, as you can see me doing here. And this adds, variety to your card, but I think it just looks really nice. It makes your card look more delicate, so you can definitely do this and do it completely, like not even include flowers at all. If you're not a fan of the floral look, you can just do a very leafy wreath. Regardless of whether you paint the leaves or flowers, just make sure that as you taper off on the left and right side, you paint them smaller and smaller as you get to that opposite corner from the big flowers that we painted. And this is because we don't want a complete wreath for this particular painting, unless of course that is what you want, but that's just not what I was painting today. And if you want to add even more details just to make it look a little bit more delicate, you can paint these tiny little bulbs as you saw me doing earlier. It just adds, I don't know, some variation to the painting, and I think it just makes it look really delicate, as I was saying before. Especially if you're painting these really big leaves, adding those little buds, the little lines coming from the leaves, just, you know, makes it look more delicate because they're less voluminous. Here you can see me just finishing off the wreath with some of those little bulbs coming from the leaves that I painted earlier. Again, because I wanted it to look more delicate and I didn't want to paint any more flowers, especially because flowers tend to be on the bulkier side. I just finished it off with a few tiny petals and tiny bulbs. To finish off the design and add a little bit more pizzazz to the wreath, you can flick on some watercolor just to create those very, very tiny dots. And I also added some dots just around the wreath because I wanted to make them a little more pigmented. Finally, you can fill in whatever you normally would in a wedding invitation in the center of the wreath. Obviously, this isn't a real one, so I just wrote wedding invite, just to give you an idea of what the font would look like inside of the wreath. You can also add a few more details with a black marker or a black pen and outline some of the petals that you painted. So I'm not doing every single one, I'm not outlining every single one because I just want it to look very hallmarky. So you can basically just outline every other flower or every other leaf, add a little bit more detail, make certain details pop more than others, or you can skip this part entirely if this isn't really the look that you are going for. And that's basically it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and also check out some of my previous uploads for other floral painting ideas. Have a great day!